The Surge. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer, and then I'll tell you what I think. Welcome to Credo, the mega corporation saving the world. A catastrophic event has knocked you out during the first day on the job. You wake up equipped with a heavy-grade exoskeleton in a destroyed section of the complex. So what is the Surge? Well, okay, it's Dark Souls in space. It's like sci-fi Souls. Now, people are going to say, oh, it's nothing like that. It is. It's a lot like Dark Souls. In fact, it's pretty much the same as Dark Souls. If you looked at the likes of Quake, alright, and Unreal, they are two different games, but they are pretty much the same. You get it? So this is like the Unreal to Quake. Now, I didn't like any of the Dark Souls games simply because I am a PC user who plays with a mouse and keyboard, and the developers of Dark Souls have not got a fucking clue how to program a mouse and a keyboard. And I had huge arguments on my reviews with fanboys who were saying it's not meant to be played with a mouse and keyboard. Lol, buy a controller, lol. I said, no, it's not my fault. It's the developer's fault. I should be able to play this game with a mouse and keyboard. I can play plenty of other third-person games with a mouse and keyboard. Oh no, not a Souls game. Not a... So I'm really pleased that the Surge has been released, which is pretty much exactly the same as a Souls game, with sublime mouse and keyboard controls. Yes, guys, the mouse and keyboard controls for this game are fucking awesome. It's just like, as soon as I picked it up, started to play it, I thought, yeah, exactly. This is what it's all about. Why the f*** can other developers not do it? These can do it. Deck 13 can do it. You know, yeah, mouse and keyboard. You want mouse and keyboard? There you go. Programmed in. Works like a charm. But Dark Souls, oh, I can't do it. So what's it like then? Well, basically, if you haven't played a Dark Souls game, what you do in this game is you progress through a level, killing all these trash mobs, collecting their loot, leveling yourself up, upgrading your gear, until you come to the end of the level where you will fight a boss. Now the boss fights are like Simon Says. You go in, get your face ripped off the boss, usually in about under 10 seconds. Then you go back, you run all the way back, and then you go back in, and then you get your face ripped in 30 seconds. Then you go back, and then about a minute it takes it, and all the time you're watching what it does. It's a bit like Simon Says, but you have to kind of learn the pattern, you know, like red, red, green, green, red, blue. So you go red, red, green, green, red, blue. Then it'll go red, red, green, green, red, blue, yellow. So you go red, red, green, blue, red, blue. Shit, I'm dead. So you see, that's what you have to do, and that's apparently fun. People like that kind of thing. Now, the way the Surge plays is you collect scrap as you go around. So you kill a mob and you can collect scrap. But here's the thing. You can select different components on the enemy you're going to fight by simply moving your mouse wheel up or down. It will select, say, his head, his arms, his torso, or his legs. They will either show up as orange or blue. Blue means they aren't armoured, so you will hit really hard on that slot. And once you take off that specific limb, he dies. If you target an orange limb, that means that limb is armoured. It's going to take a lot longer to kill it and to take that off. But you will be given more loot for doing that. And if it's an arm that's holding a weapon, you have a chance that you will get that weapon. That made it very, very interesting, because as I was going around on the first level, I was thinking, right, I need arms, legs, chest, head, and a weapon. So I was just targeting the different enemies, and you start off with like a shit weapon, and then I was upgrading myself as I go along. Now the problem is, the only place you can upgrade yourself is your hub. I forget what it's called, but it's like a hub, a safe building on the level. If you get back to that building with all your loot, then the loot is yours. You can upgrade your different weapons, your different armor pieces. You can craft new ones if you get the schematics, and you get the schematics off killing enemies. You can upgrade your core power. You know, like Iron Man has this power core, where you have one too, and you keep adding more power to that, and the more power you have in your power core, the more things you can actually do. A lot of you have like components that you can slot into your suit, which will give you, they're like perks if you like. You can have up to 8 of them once you've unlocked them, and some of them will boost your healing, your energy, and all that, depending on how much power you have in your core. Your core power is very important as well when you're up and off and around the map, because you can open certain doors by overcharging them. But coming back to your loot system, if you get back to base, spend your loot, craft whatever you want, you can bank whatever scrap you've got left after that and then head back out. And then if you die, it doesn't matter, because when you die in this game, whatever loot you have on you is dropped on the floor, and you only have 2 minutes to get it back, which I think is so fucked up, it's ridiculous. Because this game is very hard, it is brutally hard at times, and it's a huge grind. And I remember running around when I didn't really know the map, and I'd saved up a few thousand bits, and I had quite a few components, and I took a wrong turn and ended up in the boss fight on the first boss. Had no idea what he was, what you do with him, and he killed me in like 10-15 seconds, and I lost all my loot. And I was so pissed off, because I'd pretty much played 45 minutes going around the level and killing shit tons. I had thousands of bloody loot, and I lost it all. And so pretty much the last 45 minutes was a waste. There is no save game, you see. You can't save the game in this. You can press F5 for quick save, but you can't actually reload it once you've died. The save game becomes, it's like it never happened, you know. I can't believe people like that. I can't believe people think that is a fun game mechanic. Gaming is supposed to be fun, right? I don't think it's fun grinding mobs for 45 minutes, and then if I die, I lose everything. It's kind of like, how does that make the game hard? It doesn't. It doesn't make the game hard, because I'll just go and do all them, kill them people easy. You know, I'm not dying at all, killing them. I just happened to take a wrong turn and got killed off a boss. That doesn't make the game harder. That just makes the game shit. You know, that just makes the game fucking frustrating. I can't think of one good thing that brings to the table. And I know for a fact, because I know Dark Souls fans, because this happens in Dark Souls as well, who love the game but hate that. But in Dark Souls, you see, it's not timed. So if you lose your souls, you can go back and get them because it's not timed. They won't vanish. In this, they vanish after 2 minutes. And a lot of the levels are like mazes, so you get lost. And it's like, so fucking hell, man. So the gameplay is not going to be for everybody. It's kind of like, if you're a Dark Souls fan, then you're probably going to like this. I mean, I know there's a lot of childish people out there who say, no, I can't play the Surge because I like Dark Souls. You can only like one of them. No, that's just immature arseholes who think like that. There is no reason why people who love Dark Souls could not love the Surge as well. If I had to play one of these for a day, either Dark Souls or the Surge, I'd play the Surge, because I think it's a way better game. But that's purely down to the fact that it has really better controls, and I like the whole way you level up. I like the exosuit. I think the game looks a lot better. Dark Souls kind of looks like a depressing, grey, murky pile of shit, whereas this is all bright and colourful and nice. So it's not as depressing as Dark Souls as well. So I do like this game. It isn't a bad game at all, but there is a few things that you need to be aware of if you're going to take the plunge and buy this. The combat is a bit clunky. Now what I mean by that is, when you commit to a move, the animations, depending on how heavy the weapon is you're holding, can take a while. I mean, there's two sets of armor. There's light armor and there's heavy armor. I'm using the Rhino heavy armor. It's like an early armor, and with a heavy weapon, it's quite a dance he does when he starts to attack. And once you commit to an attack, you cannot stop that attack. There is no cancel button where you can feign an attack. That doesn't happen in this. You are committed. But worse, if you press the button again during that, it will stack up the next attack and queue it up. So you can be in a merry fucking dance and getting hammered because the guy's jumped out of the way and you're attacking thin air, and you will keep attacking thin air till all the animations you've queued up have gone, and in that time you can easily be killed by an enemy that's quite quick. And it's happened to me a lot, and I had to learn to be very careful with my presses of the button. And you do get there in the end, but it is fucking annoying, and I don't know why that's in. It shouldn't be like that. I should be able to cancel an attack once I've done it. I've given you a negative there, so I'm going to give you a positive. One of the other things I like about this is there's no rolling along the floor like a prick. I hated that in Dark Souls. I hated that in all games that have that. It's just a stupid, ridiculous mechanic that nobody would ever do IRL. It's just never happened. I've never, in all my years that I've seen fights and all that, I've never witnessed somebody rolling along the floor like a complete bell end. It just doesn't happen. It's ridiculous. If you go down in a fight, it's game over. A swift boot to the face and it's lights out. You don't do that kind of thing. Why it's in games, I don't know. You watch action movies, you know, you're not going to see it in action movies. Maybe it's the odd one, but you know, it's just a bullshit mechanic. It's stupid, but everybody accepts it. Yeah, roll on the floor. And you know, you can spam roll in a lot of these games. You don't just spam roll. Looks like something at the fucking Olympic gymnastics. In this, you've got a dodge button, which is acceptable. You press a button in whichever direction you're going, you'll leap out of the way, which is so much better than rolling out of the way. And you're not invulnerable while you're jumping. You can be hit. So that's another plus for me. But summing it up, guys, it's a very difficult game. It's very hard. And unfortunately, there is a shit ton of grinding to be done. What I've found is, you know, I've ran round and round the first level about 5 or 6 runs, because you always feel underpowered in this game. You never feel that you're powered enough to be fighting what you're fighting until you've really pretty much completed the level a few times. You always feel like you're kind of geared below the level of everybody else on the level. But once you've grinded the level a few times and you've upgraded your gear and you've got the Mark 2s and the Mark 3s and the Mark 4s of your gear, then you can you feel as if you're on a par, so you can move on to the next level, kill the boss, move to the next level. But then when you get to the next level, you're going to be all underpowered again, and so you go back to the previous level, round and round and round, grinding and grinding and grinding, doing runs and runs and runs, and that's the game. And the problem with that is you'll find you're fighting exactly the same enemies. These guys in exosuits, they all look the same, they all have the same weapon. There's no difference at all. You might get a variation of maybe 2 different types of mobs on a level in a few of these drones, and you just go round and round and round killing the same mobs with the same moves, who do the same moves with the same defenses, with the same weapon and the same armor, over and over and over again until you're so fucking sick that you want to quit. And that's not my idea of fun. I mean, the kind of people that like this game must be the people who do missionary sex. That's all they ever do. Yeah, sex tonight, love, yeah, missionary position. That's it, yeah, here we go. That's all I do. That's all I do. Does the job, scratches the itch. That's all I want. There's no doggy. There's none of that. It's all just the same old. And they're the kind of people, that's my profile for somebody who really loves this game. You know, you've got to be able to just, I can just do that. You know, they go on holiday to the same place every fucking year. Yeah, we're back again for the 15th year running. But this is what I do. I like repetitive in my life. That's the problem with this game. It is so bland. There's no variety in it. We'll have a quick look at the options. There's shit tons of graphical options that you can change to make the game run better on your machines. I had it running really well on mine, although I did have 2 pretty serious crashes that both resulted in me losing sound altogether, and I had to restart my computer. So I don't know what that was all about, but that happened to me twice in the first 5 hours that I was playing. But there's a lot of options that you can change to make the game better. You can totally customize the UI, switch things off, switch things on, and alter a lot of the graphics settings as well. So it all comes down to thumb up or thumb down. It's better than Dark Souls in my opinion, and I'll have to say this: if you're a PC gamer that likes Dark Souls kind of games, then you're going to love this, because it is a very good game, albeit it has crashed a couple of times for us, but the controls are brilliant, way better than Dark Souls. It's just as brutal, if not more brutal, but I don't know, I mean, I haven't played both of them through, so I can't really say which is the more brutal, but this is brutal. If you like brutal, this is brutal. So I would say definitely worth a buy if you are into Dark Souls kind of games. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. For me, I don't really like them type of games because I get bored so easy. I mean, you know, 5 hours in, I'm bored shitless. First boss, yeah, okay. Second level, yeah, same as the first, different armor. Oh god, not again. I can't. Do I have to go running around this for 3 bloody hours grinding them? I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's not fun enough, and for that reason I'm going to thumb it down, guys. It just isn't fun enough for me. I'm not that kind of player, but please don't be put off by that, because if you are the kind of player that likes this, then get it, because I can tell you now, it plays very, very well, and plays better than Dark Souls, has to be said.